As is widely known, human population in China is declining. However, the population of a certain type of thing is rapidly on the rise. That is, the population of pet animals. According to industry survey, the pet industry has been one of the fastest growing markets in China in recent years, with a compound annual growth rate of over 18% since 2019. In 2021, the scale of China's pet market reached RMB 131 billion. By contrast, during the same period, the sales growth rate of household goods was only 2%, and that of notebook computers was only 5%. In this episode, let's take a look at the treatment of pets in China over the past 70 years, as well as profound changes of Chinese society reflected from it. Before the founding of PRC, animal status in Chinese households was divided into two types. Firstly, in ordinary households, animals were more often considered as production tools. Cattle for plowing fields, sheep and pigs for meat, cats for catching mice, and dogs for guarding the house. Cats and dogs were not regarded higher than any other animals. It can be safely said that all kinds of animals were treated equally under the owner. However, things were different in rich people's homes. In affluent families, cattle, sheep, and pigs were still seen as production tools, while some dogs and cats were companion and pets because of their various uses. These animals held significantly different status. The farmer could only stay in pigsties or cow sheds, while the latter could enter the parlor and even be held in the arms of the owners. For example, in the TV drama The Grand Mansion Gate, the mistress hired a maid specifically to carry her dog, demonstrating the high status of dogs in such households. After the establishment of the People's Republic of China, the status of workers and peasants were greatly improved. Conversely, the status of cats and dogs, which had once been pets, declined. In fact, they returned to the position of being production tools. The ideology of PRC was Marxism-Leninism, which believes that everyone must maintain their life through their own labor, so people would not have time to keep pets and dogs as pets. Capitalists who gained wealth by exploiting workers had the time and money to keep pets, so pet keeping was considered a sign of bourgeoisie's decadent lifestyle. For instance, an article in the newspaper in 1958 criticized American pet dog enjoying luxurious lives. Pet dogs could even wear mink capes worth hundreds of dollars, while unemployed workers were queuing outside relief stations waiting for bread. China began economic reform and opening up in 1978, introducing capitalism and market economy. Over the next decade, China's ideology underwent major changes. Dogmatic and rigid Marxism-Leninism was gradually abandoned and replaced by the socialism with Chinese characteristic, which is the socialism that is modified and reformed to fit into China's specific condition. A fundamental feature of the socialism with Chinese characteristic is to flexibly combine market economy capitalism with China's actual situation. On this, Deng Xiaoping, who was the major designer of China's economic reform and opening up policy, famously said, "It doesn't matter if a cat is black or white, as long as it catches mice." After the reform and opening up, people's attitudes towards pets also changed. Keeping pets was no longer seen as a decadent lifestyle of the bourgeoisie, and there were more and more pet cats and dogs in cities. However, until 1994, big cities in China still did not allow pet dogs to be kept. For example, the Domestic Dog Management Regulations issued in 1980 stated that pet dogs were forbidden in urban and industrial areas above the county level. As a result, Beijing set up a dog beating office, which would seize and kill pet dogs if anyone was found keeping them, or kill them on the street if spotted. During Beijing's first bid for the Olympic in 1993, many media questioned the legitimacy of this behavior. Under pressure, China's ban on keeping dogs gradually eased. In 1994, Beijing's dog ban turned into a strict restriction on keeping pet dogs. The strict restriction on keeping dogs allowed city residents to keep dogs, but it required a dog license, and the cost of the license was quite high, such as 5,000 yuan in Beijing and 10,000 yuan in Guangzhou, while the average wage in Beijing and Guangzhou at that time was only about 400 to 500 yuan per month. This was essentially a way to prevent people from keeping dogs by setting a high price. In the 1990 movie, Kara is a dog. The protagonist is an ordinary worker, mediocre in his career, leading a monotonous life. With a monthly income of only 400 to 500 yuan, he is constantly strapped for cash. His spiritual pillar is taking care of his pet dog, Kara. Unfortunately, one day, the protagonist's wife takes Kara for a walk, and Kara is seized by the government en route. If they cannot provide a dog license, the dog will be disposed of. Coincidentally, when Kara was captured, their son had a fight and had to compensate the other party with 1,500 yuan. Under such circumstances, whether to save the dog or not became a highly contradictory and a painful dilemma for the protagonists. In the end, due to the deep bond between the man and the dog, the family put together 5,000 yuan to procure a license for Kara. This shows a sharp conflict between the unreasonable administrative system and the realistic human needs. Entering the 21st century, although the government still has many restrictions on keeping dogs in cities, the number of pet dogs is increasing year by year, and it is no longer possible to strictly limit the number of pet dogs. So, in 2003, the strict restrictions on dog raising were abolished and replaced with the new dog raising management regulations. The most important amendment was to reduce the price of dog license from 5,000 yuan to 1,000 yuan. By 2009, there were 950,000 registered pet dogs in Beijing, and it was estimated that the total number of pet dogs in Beijing had exceeded 2 million. Today, 40 years after China adopted its open-up policy, any attempt to restrict pet ownership are no longer possible. Pets are quickly becoming integrated into Chinese society, becoming members of many people's family, and even replacing human family members for many people. Pet animals have been the compulsory necessities for many Chinese, especially the young people working in big cities. Firstly, young people need pets to heal their souls. Today, young people face tremendous pressure in terms of education, employment, and work. Many young people encounter setbacks and failures in their work and studies. They either feel empty and powerless or have their self-esteem hurt. They need consolation for these mental injuries, and pets are one of the best remedies. When young people return home tired after a day's work and sees a cute cat or dog rushing towards them, the sense of dependence that comes from the pet enhances their sense of self-worth, dispels the sense of powerlessness of many workers, and boosts their confidence. Secondly, young Chinese people can practice taking on family responsibility by taking care of pets. Due to the one-child policy, many young people in China do not have siblings. This gives them a disadvantage in forming a family, such as being selfish and not being considerate. Through taking care of pets, these young people gradually learn to get along with others, consider the benefits and needs of others, thereby preparing for forming a family. Considering the cost of raising a child in cities, some young people have gone so far as to give up the choice to raise human offspring and instead treat their pets like their own children, which will partly explain the decline of the birth rate in recent years. From the treatment of pet dogs in China over the past 40 years, we can see a basic fact. As the market economy has replaced the previous planned economy, people living under the new economic system have begun to demand pets objectively and genuinely. The real demand is unstoppable, and it will break through all artificial and subjective interference and restrictions. This is the fundamental reason why China will never come into a time when pet animals are totally forbidden in big cities. The same situation is not only happening in the small realm of pets, but also in various aspects of Chinese society. Perhaps this is the so-called objective laws of historical development. Thanks for watching. Please follow me. See you next time.